We're just about to film my fudgy choc and raspberry brownie recipe from my ebook, Sweets and Treats. So let's start. Welcome, literally. Do you see? Maybe she's cold. Marilyn Rossano, your host for this evening. I had to say it. But. Welcome to Rossano's Casa. This is Marilyn Rossano, and we're back in the kitchen. This week we are making a dessert recipe, and it is my fudgy choc and raspberry brownie recipe. You can find this recipe in my Sweets and Treats ebook, available on my website. I'll link it all below for you. But I thought I would show you how I make it. Super easy, super delicious. Sweet, but not too sweet. The raspberries in this brownie recipe definitely complements the dark chocolate. So I made these for the dessert boxes that were available at Easter time. I'll bring it back out at Christmas. And I had a lot of people write in and say, oh my goodness, I'm not a huge brownie person. I love these. They were just delicious. So anyway, I thought that I would share them with you. You guys love the tahini and choc chip cookie recipe that I shared on this channel, so definitely go back and watch that as well. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share this video if you love it as much as I love making them for you. So anyway, I'm going to flip the camera around. We're going to go through the ingredients, and by now you probably know that I like to share with you substitutes, tips, little variations. At the end, like how I store things, how I keep them, especially if you want to make things in advance, because I always think that that's important because we don't always have time to bake like the day before or the morning of an event. So anyway, let's get cracking on to the ingredients and get baking. If you're a chocolate lover, you're definitely going to love this recipe. So I have dark cooking chocolate and unsalted butter. We're going to melt these two together initially. We have some dark chocolate melts, dark cacao, flour, dark brown sugar. Trust me on this. Bit of salt, caster sugar, eggs, frozen raspberries, and vanilla bean paste. So I'm going to show you how I make these. Very easy. It looks very rich, but I promise you this is definitely going to balance all this out. Let's get baking. I've whipped out my printed copy of my ebook, Sweets and Treats. So first things first, I've preheated my oven at 180 degrees Celsius. My oven's only fan forced and it seems to work fine. So that's preheated. I've also brought up to boil a little pot of water. I have a spare bowl which I'm going to melt my dark cooking chocolate and unsalted butter over. You could definitely do this in the microwave. It is entirely up to you. I really suggest that you melt the chocolate first because we have to let it cool down a little bit by the time we get started on the batter mixture. The reason is it can't be piping hot from the stovetop straight into this because there's eggs and we don't want a scrambled egg batter. So melt that, preheat your oven, and then I would just generally measure out all my ingredients because we've got to enjoy this baking process. So while that is melting, I've already measured my stuff out. I'm going to wash up a little bit, make a cup of coffee, allow that chocolate to cool down a little bit, and I'm going to talk you through the rest of the process. It is super easy. I have also got my little slice tray. I think it's 27 by 15 centimeters, about there. So I've just lined it, spray oil, baking paper, ready to go. Let's get baking. Look how glossy that is. Gorgeous. All right, let's set it aside to cool down a bit. We have our chocolate slightly cooling down. I also wanted to say, if you wanted to do that in the microwave, melt the chocolate and the butter in the microwave. I'd put it in a bowl, obviously a microwave safe bowl, about a minute, take it out, mix it a little bit, put it back in, and just do it at increments at a time. I feel like sometimes when you just put it on, like say 2 minutes, it just burns part of the chocolate. Just a little tip. So while the chocolate is cooling down, I have my stand mixer with a whisk attachment. You could definitely just use a bowl with hand beaters, but I just find this easier. We are going to go in with our eggs and our sugar So we're going in with caster sugar, dark brown sugar. Let's put in our vanilla bean paste. So I've said 2 teaspoons. I don't measure. You can measure. I feel like vanilla bean paste is the baking version of what garlic is in normal cooking. So we're going to go in that. I'm going to crack in the eggs and we're going to whisk this for about 10 minutes. Whisk it in for 10 minutes. We're going to make sure that it gets really sort of light and fluffy. That way the chocolate mixture will be slightly cool and then we're going to pour that into the batter mix. So let's get whisking. Whisking away on medium speed, 10 minutes before we add in our melted chocolate. Ten minutes is over. Gosh, that is a bit of a wait. So I'm just going to bring this a little bit closer to you. Don't want to drip any of that. Oh my God, that's making me cringe. I just wanted to show you how beautiful and creamy that sugar and egg mixture is. I'm going to add in the melted chocolate at this point. And then we're going to add in our flour and cacao. Cacao? What's the right term? I'm going to say cacao, dark cacao. But first things first. So I just also wanted to add that when I was whisking the egg and sugars together, that was on a medium speed. I'm going to do the same with the chocolate for 2 minutes before we add in our sifted flour and cacao, and then we're going to fold in the raspberry and the choc melts. All right, let's take this off. Damage is done. Try to keep it clean. Didn't. All right, let's add in. I've got sift our flour and cacao. This will be a record if I don't make a mess anywhere. Then we're going to fold in our frozen raspberries. I also want to add, don't be alarmed when you add in the frozen raspberries that the whole batter kind of stiffens up a little bit. That's kind of expected, right? So let's add that in. We're just cleaning up as we go. Let's just mix this up for a minute. Totally optional. We're just going to do it and then fold in just on low speed. Otherwise it's going to go everywhere. Go in with our dark choc melts. You could definitely just roughly chop up some like a dark chocolate block if you like. You could add white chocolate. If you don't want to add frozen raspberries, you could leave it out. You could add lemon zest, orange zest, if that's what you prefer. You could do a cheese cream swirl in this. You could add in some peanut butter. It's really, really up to you. I love this combination. I love fruit in dessert. That's just, for me, I'm not a huge dessert person. So I feel like when there's something in there like fruit, it kind of balances out the sweetness. Makes me feel a little bit better. No, it doesn't. I just love fruit dessert. But again, it's completely optional and up to you. So I'm going to pour this into our prepared and lined slice tray as such. I'm going to smooth it out. We're going to bake it at first for 20 minutes. I'm going to take it out of the oven. We're going to tap it on the bench top a little bit before we bake it for a few more minutes after that. That'll ensure that we just get that beautiful cracked surface on top of a brownie, just the way it should be. All right, smooth this out, bake it for 20, and I'll come back and tap it on the bench. All right, first 20-minute bake. Let's take these out and give them a tap on the bench. Let's give this a few taps. Can you see how you're getting a little bit of cracks through there? Just give it a few taps. We're going to put this back into the oven for another 10 minutes and it'll be done. Here is the end result. Look at that, gorgeous. Look at all the cracks on the surface right there. So 20 minutes in the oven, take it out, couple of taps, few taps, back into the oven, 10 to 15 minutes. This took 15, last time took 10, really depends. It is going to be soft. There are going to be like little wet bits, but that's just the choc melt that is coming out onto the skewer. And I'm going to add a little bit of sea salt flakes, totally optional. If you like it, I would add it at this stage. Okay, we're going to let this cool down in the pan completely before we take it out, slice it up and test try it if you can resist. Okay, guys? This has completely cooled down for that gorgeousness. Excuse the range hood in the back. See, I'm going to take it out of the pan. Oh, hold on. Live viewing, folks. Let's move that out of the way. Let's cut through this. I get about 12 pieces out of this, but you can cut it into any size portion that you like. I like to cut it once down the center. Oh, look at that. That's just the frozen raspberries. Let's cut the rest up. I'm going to clean the knife with just a damp paper towel in between each cut. Otherwise, you're just going to get some dirty bits at the top. That's a closer look. Look at that, absolutely gorgeous. Salt flakes is totally optional. You could leave the raspberries out to leave them plain. You could add, peanut butter blobs in it. You could add Nutella. You could add cream cheese. Maybe make a little bit of a cream cheese mix with some lemon or orange rind. Anyway. Hope you give these a go. They are so delicious. Everything is happening at the moment. I've got dinner going. I've got these brownies just screaming my name. I hope you love them. They're truly beautiful. They're delicious. They're fudgy, chocolatey, not too sweet, but rich. It's just a perfect brownie. Anyway, grab a copy of my ebook on my website. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share if you like this episode. And I'll be back next week with another recipe. Don't know what I'm going to cook. I think I might do a shepherd's pie because it's starting to cool down here big time. Anyway, cheers. Bye. Oh my gosh. Dessert before dinner.